Hey guys, today we're talking about fraud and fraud artists. Of course, until we have the court verdict, we can't really talk any names or name companies or something like this because this can hurt their reputation. But last night, this morning actually, almost at midnight, I walked out of the police station, armed with some knowledge and accompanied with two of my clients, recent clients from India who got conned by roughly over $50,000. So I'll take you through the range of their mistakes to insure you against them and to warn you about them. Thank you for staying with the channel. Share this video with any guys who have plans to relocate to Belarus from your region. Now guys, keeping in mind that I will have to watch my mouth very much so as to keep our evidence to ourselves and to tell you the tips and tricks that would navigate you to avoid the trouble. I will just mention that I've been at court a couple of times and I know what I'm talking about. And I would say it's a very tough situation if the thing has already happened to you. My client made several crucial mistakes, and the first one of them was to trust a guy who knows everybody, who does everything, who takes you everywhere and sells you moon craters or any coal mines somewhere in southern Belarus or something like this, takes you to a board of people who look seriously, bureaucrats here. They talk business and everything, put a little show. He takes you to a VIP lounge, a strip club of some kind, and then you're sweet and you are stacking him up with your cash. The cash that is never accounted for and the cash that never actually gets any contract against it. First warning, it's not normally cash, and this guy normally doesn't accept any money here. It's crypto he accepts in another country. So this is the first point of crush, let's say, because none of these transfers can be confirmed, tracked or anything. Because normally once you've done the transaction, the history of messaging is cleaned up. And so if you're using Telegram, be careful about what you do, how you message people, and what is promised to you. If somebody is promising you to get some documents here in Belarus, residency, permanent residency, which is the toughest thing, the major point to know here is that the person can at best act as your translator. There are no facilitators who can speed up the things. And the country here is very much anti-corruption, and there's no such thing like taking $5,000 into an office and walking out with residency permit or something like this. The guy will walk out with handcuffs like that. So this is second thing to keep in mind. So again, when you pay someone off, especially before the service is rendered, and my company normally charges you for relocation after the service has been rendered and money goes to my local bank account, for that matter, you should see what kind of obligations the parties have against each other or about each other on the table, what kind of contract you have with this provider, what's being promised, when it's going to be delivered, and most importantly, you should check how many people got that delivered themselves previously and how many of these people there are, because if their operator has been there for a year, I have more than 30 relocation guys meeting at the bar once in 2 weeks. City center, I'll post an announcement underneath here, you can come as well if you're in town. And you should very much ask these guys how things worked and maybe show the material evidence of that. So my client was promised a few houses to be purchased in his name, and he pays $10,000 for each house, and then he can resell these houses to more eager clients at a higher markup and get temporary residency for one of these houses. So conservatively, when I saw the papers, and none of the paper packages that he got when he was already here, when he already paid off the deal, none of the paper packages actually had sale contracts, which would actually quote the real amount of money that was paid to the owner. So when you're accepting a deal of some, say, $10,000 for a house, you should ask yourself, what's the real market value of this house? And if it's $2,000 worth, or if it's even unsellable, and two of these houses are not really sellable in this current market, you should probably conclude that something is wrong here. And you should always do that if the business meeting is after 9 o'clock in the evening, or if the business meeting is promising you to pay off more than 10% a year. 10% a year, not 10% a month or something like this. Somebody's investment project, somebody's offer, something like this. Please be careful with the mathematics, guys. It's not fairy tale, it's Belarus, the land of opportunity for both investors and fraudsters. Yesterday, at around midnight, I learned a curious cultural detail about fraudsters. The cop told me that statistically the fellow countrymen screw each other. It's not like Belarusians screwing foreigners, that almost never happens or almost never gets reported. And that's normally Chinese screwing Chinese and Pakistani conning Pakistani and so on and so forth here in Belarus. But there are several foreign communities who already live here with the knowledge that something is going wrong with certain operators, and we will take the matter to the police to sort things out, that is for sure. Unfortunately, at my intercultural faculty at university, they never told me about this thing. Just learned it after 10 years in the field, basically. Suppose somebody is introducing himself as a local troubleshooter, the guy who knows everything, who deals in everything, who takes you to every room, and so on and so forth. Again, guys, you need a translator. I'm a certified translator for English. I know guys who do Persian, I know guys who do Hindu, so even if you trust somebody, even if you have this big sweet plan before you and other guys took hordes of gold out of it, ask yourself, is this really gonna happen? Ask yourself if the guys who ran away actually were the last ones to profit. Double check the bloody plan. Take it to somebody to consult with, not necessarily me. It could be any professional real estate agency in Minsk for real estate, or any lawyer who does businesses to screen the successful bookkeeping or not so successful bookkeeping of the business you're about to buy. Talk to people in the industry. Is this really a good thing to invest in? Is this niche really kicking to pay off 10% a year or more if the provider, if the seller is claiming this way? Ask yourself why they're selling this such profitable, cool thing. In case with my client, the guy was introduced to him as a lawyer, but he's a foreign bugger. He only has residency permit here, temporary residency, just like what my client got because of his very clumsy, very messed up paperwork that almost got him kicked out of the country. His picture was on a shiny website of some consulting company, a legal company that is majoring in legal services to foreigners doing business in Belarus. And I guess themselves, they'll be soon explaining at the police what this guy was doing in their company and what was his role and how would they put a foreign guy's ass. And I could bet he didn't have any license for any legal activities here in Belarus to be basically their partner. The page is gone from the website, but we have screenshots and we have all the evidence recorded. That's to our benefit, of course. And in 3 weeks from now, we will update you guys about my client still being in the country, if we manage to extend his stay, or his kick out, and we will be updating you about the other side of the story. Again, I cannot give you all the details right now, but there are more people coming here from this region where troubles normally happen. And the general message is, guys, be careful, follow the steps I've just provided, or at least keep them in mind. Don't fall for any sweet shit by the service provider, no matter what kind of commercial thing it is, no matter how persuasive, how impressive this commercial thing is. Just keep your brain switched on and cool at all times. So to summarize my rather hectic and emotional story, I apologize for maybe extra emotion invested, but lack of sleep definitely gets you there, and especially the stress bred by the knowledge of how much money people lose just saving 50 bucks on a site consultancy. That's life, that's human, nothing tragic as long as everybody is alive. As long as you keep your message history with screenshots and screen recordings, as long as you check who you're dealing with, as long as you double check your investment plans with someone on the side, again, not necessarily me, though I know my fair share, I could at least tip you which way to go or which way to look, you may save yourself some sleep and you won't be too emotional at 9 o'clock in the morning, enjoying your sandwiches here in Oktyabrskaya Street in Minsk. It was a pleasure talking to you folks. Thank you very much. Love you all, as one of my friends here says, and see you in Minsk someday. Cheers.